what I would share with you today is a few points of view, such as all this transformation that we are talking about and the benefit of it reaching to the society. There are certain overwhelming driving factors that ultimately decide as to how fast you need to do something and how organized should that transformation be for it to actually perform. And what kind of reforms are to be prioritized. We cannot reform everything, and there should be a priority. So let me draw your attention in the next few minutes. Let us start with this slide. Now, what you see here is the external environment in which we are also a part. The world is aging, and the number of people are growing. We all understand this. With the number of old people versus the earning people, the ratio is dwindling. And while countries like Japan and China, you see that the curve is going down, they'll, in the next 25 years or so, it will be a scenario where in India we are still around 1% taking care of one additional person. We're talking about 1% taking care of two additional persons in some of these countries. What does this actually mean to the society? I mean, health is a result, in my view. And there are several things that actually work on your health on a day-to-day basis as a part of the societal aspects. You increase the burden per head, which increases the stress of the person. More people go to work, less people take care of people at home. More old people and children at home are, left alone, and there is more broken families. There are more bad habits. You spend, our lifestyles become different. You're under stress. You're at the work. We are all familiar with these things already happening in the country. And then there's much less left because of those bad habits. Much less left with us to spend on our health actually, in time and money. Increases the health disorders, and then it reduces our productivity, increases our losses. So then I have to earn more. And this cycle goes on, and basically it spirals. Spirals into a loss, which you see if I resurrect this kind of a system by bringing in ICT or whatever. There are certain gaps that some of my fellow panelists have highlighted, and these 4 gaps is what I wanted to share with you. Affordability and continuum of care. Care doesn't start at the hospital and end at the hospital. We're talking about several technologies coming in the way that the continuum be extended to your homes, to your family physician clinics. Wastage of resources. It is not that, all that is available today is utilized in the best way. So there's a lot of available resources which is not used in the best way. A lot of resources, there's a recent report I read in a very advanced, we heard about the NHS project in the morning. In UK, the recent reports that have been quoted of the medicine wasted because of expired drugs is $400 million per year. I don't even have a figure for India. Okay, so how much are we wasting? And then we have to keep in mind when we talk about this transformation that there is diversity in this country, everything that we look at. There is economic diversity, linguistic diversity, cultural diversity, geographical, climatic. So one thing doesn't fit all. So we have to have systems which basically, I'll skip this slide because anyways this has been touched about this kind of spending patterns and so on. But all I wanted to highlight on this slide is it is not really such a bad state in this country. If you compare with other countries, whatever their populations are, they seem to have, if you look at, excluding Japan, for example, if you look at the number of resources, number of physicians available per 1,000 people, between India and between US, it is not a big difference. Okay. So the point is, what is the quality of facility available? What is the quality when you call it a hospital bed? What is that hospital bed that is available to the person? So looking at how fast we need to transform this, I just wanted to bring this figure to your notice. is there's something called as the disease-adjusted life years, which is the number of life years if a person becomes unproductive because of whatever health problems. The number of disease-adjusted life years means the loss of the life years, of a person. For our population, this number is a mind-boggling 200 million life years that we have already lost, which exactly means that people are alive but non-productive. Now, the point is, in the next 10 years, it has been projected that we will have an additional 200 million life years. It's going to double in the next 10 years. If you convert into the GDP per person, the numbers are mind-boggling. So we are talking about $180 trillion of loss in an ideal case of everybody being 100% productive. Even if you take it as 1% productivity per person, you're still talking about $1 to $2 trillion loss. It's $1 billion loss per year, more than $1 billion loss per year. So the emphasis here is we need to do things, whatever we are trying to talk and do, very fast. And also, don't do it just at the end when it's a curative phase, but move it to the preventive phase. So all that we've been putting as a statistical analysis and looking at what is happening elsewhere globally and where is the whole direction going to, we see that these will be points of emphasis. People will try to reduce the device cost and infrastructure cost because these are coming in the way of proliferation today. An MRI costs something today which is equivalent of in about 8 years to break even. In this country, at 7,000–8,000 rupees charge that they charge for an MRI today. Okay, so we are talking about device and infrastructure cost reduction. Emphasis will be on aggregation of demand because that's one thing that we have population. So if we do things intelligently, we can aggregate demand. Through all the things that we talked about, health exchanges, etc. in the morning, we must be able to aggregate demand and distribute the supply of available presence so that we can reduce the wastage of resources that we have got. Coverage from palliative to curative, preventive. We have to move towards preventive because you cannot keep on curing those 200 million life years that's going waste. So if you're racing against it, you have to move to preventive very quickly. And graded service based on the infrastructure. Now this is a very important aspect that I wanted to bring up because it is not that we have to make everything 3G. We have to wait for everybody to be wired up with optical fiber. So there is a certain amount of infrastructure, and there is there are several services in health that can be delivered on a telephone, several things that can be delivered on a satellite link, on a DSL line. Yes, and then there are services that can also be delivered on an optical fiber. So the need of the hour is basically to make a matrix of what we can do, what we have, and start off with that because you are really racing against the $200 million. And differentiate the services based on affordability. We are talking about insurance premiums. Today, we're just beginning to think about differentiated insurance premiums based on the type of disease. So it's not like all these diseases are banned, and if you have these diseases or you get diseases, we cover you. It should be more to say that if you have this particular aspect, you have diabetes or you have cancer or you have something else, this is the premium. And if you can afford it, we can take care of you. So I quickly move through the other aspects. As we all witness it, ICT is shifting from products to solutions to services. We have seen that happen in the mobile sector, in the mobile communication sector. So when I book a cinema ticket, I don't care, what is all happening in the background. And there is some service provider who is taking care of collecting a monthly bill from me of all the transactions that I do on the cell phone, and then pay the respective people at the back. We need such a platform in healthcare. We do not have such a platform. And when we talk of transforming, we need to arrive at some map like this. Available infrastructure, various things like literacy skills, linguistics. It's not just about technology, right? Technology is to blend with available things. People don't know each other's language, then, making video conferencing doesn't help. So, while there have been a lot of effort, research efforts that are happening around the world in about language translation, transliteration, and all this stuff, I'm witness to a few beautiful experiments where they have, in this country, because human resources is cheap, they have used video conferencing with a